Well, it's not every day that I get to wear gym clothes to work, but here we are at the Form Lab in Portland, where it's all about taking what you learn here and then incorporating those movements into your daily lives. So Andrew Blaze is the co-founder, and we're in a gym, but it's really about taking what you teach here and building it into your everyday life.
Exactly. One of the easiest examples is going to be picking something up off the floor.
Oh boy, okay.
So I'm gonna have you just go right ahead and pick that kettlebell up for me.
Okay. Will I do it right is the real question.
Okay. A little bit of work needs to be done here.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead and drop that down. So just think of it as your daily life, okay? You're moving around, you're plugging things in, you're picking things up, you're picking up kids, you're always doing things that are forward.
Yep.
Everything out in life is forward. We're rarely ever in a point of retraction in our day-to-day life. So making sure you're bringing that and using your posterior side into something as simple as picking up an object off the floor.
Okay.
You think about how many times you do pick up something off the floor in your day-to-day life. Those repetitions, that time after time, you're doing it the wrong way. We're creatures of habit, and you're going to create that habit for yourself. So what we do here is break those bad habits, create new ones that we practice outside of our time in the gym.
And those bad habits can lead to like aches and pains.
Yes,
obviously.
and most of the time they do.
Okay.
Because over time, eventually, if you're into your knees or you're bending from your back, yeah, you might not feel it those first few times, or you might not feel it for a year, but that second year, that third year, however long, eventually you're gonna start feeling those aches and pains in places that you don't want them. So something as simple as picking something up off the floor, this is a good opportunity for us to be mindful of how we're moving. For example, when you went to pick that up, it was very forward. You put your pressure into the knee, and then you just bend over and you picked it up. Not your fault, you didn't do anything wrong, but that's how we move, and that's how we're not thinking about the actual process of how to pick that up properly.
Yeah.
So
what would you do then?
So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be incorporating our posterior side.
Okay.
The motion of bending forward and picking something up and standing back up straight all happens from the hips right down to the bottom of the hamstring. So hamstrings and glutes is responsible for that movement of bending over and then squeezing the glutes to stand up.
Okay.
Most people don't think about this, but you need to. And it's super, super important to make sure that you're moving through this, because if not, the only other spot that's going to be able to do that movement for you is going to be your low back.
Oof,
and eventually you're going to wake up and need the stretch, and we're trying to avoid that.
Okay.
So when it comes to picking up an object, the hinge is a very important thing. You're hinging from your hips. A hinge means you're pushing your hips back, letting your chest fall, because chest and hips move together. All right? So the first thing you're going to do is put a slight little bend in your knees.
Okay.
And then you're acting as if someone is just pushing those hips straight back, letting the chest fall.
Okay.
Once you feel tension back here, you know that you're in the legs and you're not in the back.
Okay.
And then from here, obviously I can't reach that object, so I'm gonna do what the medial glute is responsible for, and I'm gonna externally press my knees out to the side as I hinge down to the object. And then from here now, my tension is loaded in the back side of my legs, and I'm gonna squeeze and contract that hamstring and glute to bring myself back up into that upright position.
So you want to feel the burn, is what you're telling me?
Yes, you do. You want to feel that stretch and that contraction in the back of the legs, and that's how you're going to avoid using your low back or loading up pressure into the front of your leg, into your quad, and using your knee. Okay? So on this one, I'm going to have you come right up to the kettlebell, and instead of aimlessly reaching forward, we're going to really work on the approach. Yep.
Okay.
So you're gonna put that kettlebell in the center of your stance, and you're gonna do that hinge. Your hinge was really good, by the way.
Thank
so
you.
You're gonna push those hips back, feel the tension creep into the hamstrings and glutes, and then you're just trying to push your knees out to the side. Your mid glute is responsible for this movement, so implying that movement means we're gonna fire the right muscles, and then we can just go ahead and drop the hips down, and then we're squeezing that backside.
Okay.
Just think you're stretching your hamstring and glute. Once it's stretched, then you're contracting it to pull back up.
Okay.
None of that's gonna be done through the back, all right?
Okay.
I'm gonna give you this.
It looks like it's easy enough, so we'll see if I can do it this time.
We're gonna have a second try here.
Okay, so.
First things first, slight little bend in the knees.
Okay.
And then the hips
And
are coming
then-
straight back.
Yep.
Yes. Chest is falling with the hips going back.
Okay.
Keeping this nice and flat. And then just pushing those knees out to the side. Yep. Then you're going
Okay.
to grab the object.
Okay.
And now squeeze the glutes to stand.
Okay, I have some shaking going on, so.
And that's,
do it right?
that's common. That means
Okay.
you're using the right thing. You're activating muscles that aren't always active
Yep.
in that kind of a movement. So you might feel that little shake or that
Okay.
little unfamiliar feeling.
Yeah. Okay, can I put it back down?
Yep, and you're gonna do the same
Same
thing.
thing?
So you're
Okay.
just gonna push the hips straight back. Once you feel tension in the hamstrings and glutes, then you just push those knees out to the side. Remember, we're squeezing the glutes to stand.
I'm squeezing.
Even though you're not
gosh.
using the weight, you're still moving the right way.
Okay, all right. Well, if you're interested in trying this yourself, we're gonna post everything about the Form Lab on our website and our mobile app. We'll be right back.